Samsung's new Galaxy Z Trifold is easily the most ambitious foldable device the company has ever created, unfolding not once but twice to reveal a massive 10-inch tablet-like display that genuinely feels like a full workstation in your pocket. And after using it, I found myself wanting it far more than expected because Samsung hasn't just made a bigger screen, they've actually figured out how to use all that space intelligently. The phone arrives in a large premium box reminiscent of Samsung's early foldable launches, and inside, you get a slim protective case, a USB-C cable, a SIM tool, and surprisingly, a 45-watt charger, which Samsung usually avoids, including for environmental reasons. But considering how few people own a 45 West brick, it's definitely a welcome addition. From the outside, the Trifold looks similar to the Galaxy Z Fold 7, with the same 6.5-inch cover display. But the moment you pick it up, the difference is obvious. It's thick, dense, and weighs in at around 309 grams, nearly 50% heavier than other making it impossible to mistake for a normal phone when shut. Opening it feels unusual at first, because instead of unfolding a single hinge, like a typical foldable, you pull apart 2 layers and then unfold a second section. But Samsung has added thoughtful design cues, such as a slightly protruding rear panel for better grip and magnets under the middle segment that subtly lift the display to guide your fingers, making the entire unfolding process surprisingly intuitive after a few minutes. When fully spread out, the device becomes Samsung's thinnest large-screen device at under 4 millimeters. And even though there are now 2 hinge lines and 2 visible creases, the engineering feels incredibly solid, with tight magnets, smooth movement, and a completely flat lockout when opened. The downside to this design is maintenance. The exterior uses a lightweight fiberglass composite material that attracts fingerprints instantly, and the ultra-soft inner display, protected by a non-removable layer, can pick up scratches or pressure marks from even minor contact with hard surfaces or pocket debris, meaning the user must be extremely careful. Internally, the device runs on the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip paired with 16 GB RAM and 512 GB fast storage, offering excellent performance, though technically it isn't the very latest Gen 5 processor already seen in a few 2025 flagships. Camera hardware is borrowed directly from the Z Fold 7, including a strong 200MP main sensor but average telephoto and ultra-wide lenses. And while the foldable form does improve framing options and preview angles, the Trifold provides no special photography advantage beyond what the standard Fold already does. Battery life is one of the biggest improvements, jumping to a 5,600 mAh 3-cell system that charges at 45 West wired and 15 W wirelessly, while keeping the same IP for 8 water and resistance rating. However, everything that makes this device compelling ultimately centers around the 10-inch internal display and the way Samsung has optimized the software for it. Apps don't just scale, they fully transform into true tablet layouts with better organization, more information visible on screen, less scrolling, cleaner interfaces, and intelligent use of the wider aspect ratio, especially in productivity apps like Files, Gallery, Samsung Health, and even YouTube, which shows comments, recommendations, and the video itself all in a more desktop-like layout, because the Trifold forms a more rectangular screen rather than the squarish fold. Widescreen video looks significantly larger with smaller letterbox bars, and the device can also rotate into vertical orientation like a real tablet, offering a natural experience for reading, scrolling, or note-taking. Another standout feature is how Samsung Dex is now fully integrated into the device itself. No need for an external monitor to activate a desktop interface. The Trifold's own screen is large enough to serve as a workstation, complete with resizable windows, multiple virtual desktops, and support for mouse and keyboard, essentially giving you a pocket-sized computer setup that folds away when not in use. Multitasking is also vastly improved. The device can run 3 apps side by side, swap their positions instantly, and save app trios as custom layouts that reopen exactly how you left them, making it feel like carrying 3 smartphones fused into one seamless experience. The only technical drawback here is brightness. The inner display peaks around 1600 nits compared to the much brighter Z Fold 7, but in daily use, the difference is noticeable only outdoors under harsh lighting. Despite its quirks and its likely price of around $3,000 in the US based on Korean pricing, the Galaxy Z Trifold doesn't feel like an experimental first-generation product. Instead, it feels like Samsung successfully merging years of foldable phone experience with their decade of tablet optimization to create a device that is polished, powerful, highly functional, and genuinely different from anything else on the market.